In our first story, families of 5 persons who died in a police raid in Botiano are waiting from the police after the force accused them of armed robbery and land guard activities last Thursday. Godwin Asidiba followed up to the scene on Monday and found this report.
In the Wejagbobe municipality feels like a ghost town days after a deadly police raid left 5 dead and others injured. They arrived in police and military uniforms and started shooting at their assassins. I rushed into my room after I heard them shooting. I peeped and I saw them chasing the men. The police in a statement on Saturday say they mounted what they called an anti-robbery and anti-land guard operation on Thursday targeted at criminal elements who the police say had been terrorizing residents. Residents who say they witnessed the incident dispute the police version.
There is no issue here. We earned a daily bread from this work. They stormed here and started shooting.
On Monday, the police and the Gas South Municipal Chief Executive, Joseph Stephen Nyani, were at the scene of the incident, but would not speak to the news team. Most of them were seen gathering at a particular point where the shooting happened, having 1 or 2 conversations to ascertain exactly what the situation was caused. As the police went back to the scene, the families of the 5 who died in the raid were demanding answers from the police. A source told TV3 that the family were finally granted access to the bodies 4 days after the death. The families want the bodies released immediately, ignoring requests by the police for a post-mortem into the deaths. On TV, there were visible gunshot signs, bloodstains and bullet casings. The police say they retrieved weapons including a pump-action, pistols among others. Residents say the raid has caused more fear in the community. And with the police unwilling to open itself up to questions for independent reporters, calls for a greater scrutiny of their claims about how the killings has grown. The fear of many is that, like many of recent similar cases, the answers may never come. Godwin Asidiba, TV3, Accra.
Now, a former commander of the former police unit, Chief Superintendent Hamza Yakubu, retired, is urging the police administration to embrace calls for an independent investigation into the Botiano operation that has left 5 people dead. He posited that outcomes from such probes will put to rest public perception about the police and aid them to adopt reforms to rebuild public trust.
I released, so to say, was that they went to the area, and when the people cited them, they fired at them, and so they had to react. I'm not in a position to doubt it, and I'm not in a position to believe it. But if that is the true situation, then I don't see why we should fault the police. Any independent investigations, I don't think the police will be opposed to it. I believe that in fairness to themselves, they should agree to that. If they agree to allow that to take place, I think it will be fair enough for they themselves. And so that is a call in the right direction. See, but the conclusions people are already reaching that the police acted wrongly is what I think must be avoided for now until it is proven beyond every reasonable doubt that yes, they might have acted wrongly. Then they will face the law, because certainly the police is not above the law.
Now, the spate of attacks on civilians by the police is increasing, with high-profile incidents in which police have used excessive force, sometimes resulting in the deaths of persons identified as armed robbers. Now, here are some high-profile cases that have emerged. So in March 2023, police shooting where the Abubakar Shahid was shot at Dondoli by the police and he died at the Upper West Regional Hospital. According to the police, Abubakar Shahid was a suspected armed robber who attempted to flee police officers but was shot and killed. Also in March 2023, Ankofo police killing where 25-year-old Emmanuel Baden alias Abu, after his arrest on March 15, was shot and killed. Emmanuel's family reported that he went missing at Ntankofo in the Western region. According to sources, it coincided with a police's raid on the community, after which some youth were arrested over alleged narcotic offenses. According to the family, efforts to know the police station he was sent to after his arrest on March 15 proved futile, and they were later informed that he had died. Now moving on to our next killing, and that was in March 2022, where 2 police officers arrested in connection with bullion van robberies in the country were shot and died. Now, according to the police, the 2 policemen were shot and pronounced dead on arrival at the police hospital. Also moving on May 2022, Albert Donko killed at Nkranza in what police say was from gunshot wounds sustained during a police operation. The Ghana Police Service faced a series of accusations for the role it played in the killing of 28-year-old Albert Akwesi Donko in Nkranza. The police accused the dead suspect, Albert, of robbery and being part of a gun battle with the personnel on April 24, 2022, which resulted in his death. Also in July 2018, police claiming to have acted on a tip-off engaged in a shootout with some residents of Asawase in the Asokore-Mampong municipality, leading to the death of 7. On to some more stories now. The Obechebi-Lamte interchange is expected to reduce traffic congestion in the capital, but works have been stalled for months with no end in sight. Christian Yali visited the site and reports the frustration of road users.
The stalled Obechebi-Lamte interchange project has created frustration and inconvenience for road users. Potholes, dust, and clogged waters are visible everywhere around the construction site. The road keeps getting poorer whenever it rains. The $135 million project could not meet the March 2023 completion timeline due to financial constraints that compelled the constructor to abandon the site. So it's been several months now that work has been suspended on this flyover that comes all the way from Circle and takes you straight to Kolebu, Choko and adjoining communities. The road was better until the construction work started. It becomes messy these days when it rains.
One can spend hours in traffic. Sometimes it takes the police to save the situation. We also waste our fuel unnecessarily.
Construction works on Phase 2 of the project were expected to resume in May 2023. The Roads Minister, Kwesi Amoakwata, in April assured the project is not abandoned. In its current state, some drivers are only worried about their safety, as the area is gradually becoming an avenue for robbery in the night.
It gets dark in the night, so robbers take advantage to harass drivers and pedestrians.
Some traders who spoke on condition of anonymity said their sales have dwindled. Upon completion of the project, heavy traffic at one of Accra's hotspots will be reduced. This will lessen congestion at the intersection of Ring Road West and Winneba Graphic Road. Christian Yali, TV3 News, Obechebi-Lamte Interchange, Accra.
Let's do some politics now. And former Trade and Industry Minister Alan Tremanting has become the first to file his nomination to be flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party in the 2024 elections. Making an appearance in person, he tasked the Elections Committee to be fair and transparent in all processes leading to the November 4 presidential primaries.
The flag bearer hopeful was flanked by some members of parliament and leading figures within the party. They extolled the virtues of Alan Cash, as he is popularly called, and why they are backing him.
Ghanaians want jobs, and the best architects of providing jobs for me is Alan Shamantin.
We are confident beyond reasonable doubt that us as youth are prepared to go the length and breadth of this country to make sure Alan Kojo Shamantin is president.
Someone we need as a party at this critical moment to be able to break the 8.
For Alan Shamantin, the Elections Committee must ensure a free, transparent process.
Whilst commending you for the work that you've done so far, I would encourage you and hope that you will do all in your power and authority to ensure that you guarantee free, fair, and transparent elections.
Director of Elections for the party, Evans Nimako, stressed the need for continuous decorum during campaigning.
We will continue to urge you to have the party at heart, that at the end of the day, it is this very vehicle you use to conduct elections beyond November 4th.
For Botiano MP Sylvester Tete, Alan Cash is the surest bet for the party to win the 2024 general elections.
The number of MPs of 137 out of 230,000. So if you like, carry all the MPs, let's carry the grassroots. Unless you don't want the MPP to break the 8. If you want the MPP to win the next election, the only surest bet is Alan Shamantin to win the next elections.
Now to one of our headline stories, and what was meant to be a normal shower between a father and son turned tragic when both got electrocuted following a faulty electric heater at Tema Community 27. Now the family is seeking justice in what they describe as an avoidable death, which borders on standards and certification. George Queenin has the rest of the story.
This is very tragic indeed. Father and son died together through electrocution as a result of a faulty electric water heater. I will never wish this for my enemy, not at all. I'm here in Tema Community 10 to eulogize with the family and know how far they want to go with this.
Sister of deceased, Evelyn, cannot come to terms with the death of her brother, Charles Segbeji Pongo, and nephew, Fifi Sevaji Segbeji Pongo. Both were laid to rest on Saturday, June 10. Evelyn narrates that her niece first got the shock from the water heater and reported to their parents, who in turn followed up to get it fixed.
On arrival, the doctors took a look at them and declared them dead. So the police were involved anyway. They did the postmortem later, and it was confirmed that they were electrocuted. We don't know, because we went on the scene of the incident, but we believe that when my brother fell, the little boy may have touched him, and the current passed from him to him. Unfortunately, he also lost his life.
She hopes their story will be the end to such recurrent deaths.
Absolutely, I want justice to be served, because I have lost my brother and I've lost my nephew. And it is really painful, very raw. I wouldn't wish this on my enemy, and I wouldn't wish this to happen to anybody else again. And so therefore, I am hoping, I'm expecting that the case will progress through court, and people will be held accountable.
Sabo is a childhood friend of more than 45 years. He just couldn't hold back his tears, losing a friend, brother, and confidant.
It's not been easy. It's not been easy. I'm trying to cry now. interviewing the system of Ghana, I couldn't contain. It's not been easy. It's not been easy.
At the time of filing this report, the Energy Commission and the Ghana Standards Authority were contacted and in due time will be updated accordingly.
This development opens the conversation on standards and certification. The Segbeji Pongos have said their goodbyes, but what lies ahead of us is a big one. If it means that we should pay good money for quality, sure, why not? Never compromise. And also, engage the services of a certified professional. George Quenin, TV3 News, Accra.
A rather sad story there, but moving on, Ghana has regained its status as the leading producer of gold in Africa after a 32% surge in gold production last year. The Ghana Chamber of Mines attributed the development to an increase in both small and large-scale mining. Gold production by large-scale mining companies increased from 2.72 million ounces in 2021 to 3.08 million ounces in 2022, whilst gold exports from the small-scale sector rose from 98,001 ounces to 655,656 ounces over the same period. Now, overall, the country's gold output increased from 2.82 million ounces in 2021 to 3.74 million ounces in 2022. But the country is now facing an environmental crisis due to illegal gold mining. Much of the country's forests, rivers, water, and other bodies have been damaged by illegal gold mining, prompting serious health concerns in mining communities. South Africa overtook Ghana in 2021 as a top gold producer in the continent due to a sharp drop in production. Now, in international news, Nigeria's new president, Bola Tinubu, has broken his silence on the issue of the ending of the fuel subsidy since the making of the announcement that it was gone when he was sworn in a fortnight ago. Now, the decision led to a rapid rise in petrol prices. Using a speech on Nigeria's Democracy Day holiday, President Tinubu told citizens, "I feel your pain," unquote. In exchange for the ending of the subsidy, Tinubu promised that he would repay Nigerians through massive investments in transportation, infrastructure, education, regular power supply, healthcare, and other public utilities that will improve the quality of lives. But he said that sacrifices must be made. According to him, this is one decision we must bear to save our country from going under and take our resources away from the stranglehold of the few unpatriotic elements.